With 3/4 of the regular season in the rearview mirror, drivers in the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series have to refocus their energy on 4 remaining rounds in order to qualify for the playoffs. I know the playoffs have a couple of short tracks. We haven't yet had one this season until now. Tonight's the first time we've had bumper-to-bumper short track racing this year, and with a smaller track and increasing intensity, we trade rapid speeds for desperation and greed on the banks of Richmond Raceway. Hi everyone, Kyle Heyer joined tonight by Connor Horn and Hunter Sleppy. We'll have Connor on Thursdays now as Finian shifts around his schedule. But Connor, with the playoffs quickly approaching, it is time to go to get wins on the board if you don't yet have one.
Yeah, a lot of people are running out of time. The cut line is probably closer in this series than it is in any other series, so things are going to get rough and rowdy tonight at our first short track of the season as we go and look at the points. There's no surprise, James Skyerly still dominating this series. Most wins, got the title last season, and 4 wins this season. David Weishart Racing was dominating as well. They got a 5th one with Jake Nichols, Therian, and Richard Thomas locked in. Then around that cut line, besides Euroshak, Matthew Bell, no one else is really safe. Travis Beckner, 16 to the good. Bryce Senesak's only 1 above that cut line. Clayton Montgomery, Greg Mitchell, Mason Kane, Justin Munsell, so many good drivers below that cut line. And Euroshak, a driver who could also not be safe depending on the winners we get. We were talking about him pre-race. He's got 3 second-place finishes, including a 3rd place. He's been very close this season, Hunter, but he just hasn't been able to close it out.
Very well is only sitting 42 points behind points leader, Jake Nichols. And being at top of the point standings at the end of the regular season carries bonus points that help you carry momentum and gives a little confidence booster going into the playoff rounds. But Connor Euroshak's been so close to winning races. He's got 2 poles on the season, which him and Skyler are the only drivers to win more than 1 pole. 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s, and this stat blows my mind. 2nd in laps led, and that's without a win. 175 laps led, and you got to go back to Las Vegas, race number 2 of the season, where he led 73 of the scheduled 130 laps and did not come home with the win. So feels like he's knocking on the door, Kyle, of getting a win just before the playoffs start.
He's awful close, and tonight we might see a different set of drivers up towards the front. As I mentioned previously, this is the first time we've gone short track racing this season. The smallest track we've done up to this point was a mile back at Dover, round number 5, but there's only a couple rounds left. As we mentioned, Richmond tonight, Homestead next week, IRP, another short track, then Talladega, the biggest track on the schedule, then Bristol and Iowa, both in the playoffs. So if you're good at short track racing, this is your time to shine and maybe your opportunity to get up towards the front. But as we saw on Monday, it can get a bit rough and tumble out here, Connor, so you have to keep your wits about you, keep your emotions in check, and make it through this 150-lap race without any major dramas.
Yeah, keeping emotions in check, that seems a little hard sometimes. But by the way, I think the schedule, we do go to the big track in Indianapolis. It's like we did last season.
Oval.
Oh. And that was a heck of a battle last season. Who was it? 3 wide. Munsell, Hearn, Scioli. That battle was crazy, and we might see it again. We'll just have to wait and see. But regardless, this is our 1 short track of the regular season as we get 2 laps of qualifying tonight, which usually we get 1, but small track, bigger qualifying anticipation as Richard Thomas, our Daytona winner, is one of the first cars on track.
Yep, race 1, win 1, got that done for Richard Thomas, so he can just cruise along, and so long as he stays inside the top 20 in points, he'll be inside the playoffs, and I think he's got a comfortable gap doing so, and he's currently 11th in the driver's standing, so unless something bad happens in the next 4 weeks, it'll be good to go for the postseason.
Alex Bell already qualified up there towards the top of the board. Bryce Senesak joins us tonight from his rig, and he's changed the colors in his room to kind of match the livery. It should make it easy to spot both bright lime green. That's a really neat color code he's got there. Up to 4th on lap 1, but he's got his 2nd lap to go quick. And we'll see where he can land in that 09 Toyota GR Supra.
Wonder how long it took them to get those lights up there. That must have been pain as he goes pretty fast. He'll go 5th out of a 5th, or he goes 6th out of 11 cars to go. Cameron Hearn's actually top of the timing sheet, and he is usually the guy to beat here. 3 times we've gone to Richmond in this Pro Series. 2 times he's won. Season 1, and then last season in the Championship 4 decider, I think he won his way to Homestead with that win. As we look at Jeremy Miller, 11th on his first lap, but that 4th car is tough to beat here.
Yeah, best finished 2nd this season at Atlanta for Cameron Hearn, and Jeremy Miller looking to shake some things up on the Pro Series side of things rather than the Cup side of things, where he's been having a good season, but looking to get a little more momentum here on the Pro Series side.
Jeremy Miller only 12th quick there. I don't think he'll be stoked about that qualifying effort. Here's Ben Pierce just starting his first lap as we head off into turn one. Turn one here at Richmond, Connor, it's a pretty challenging racetrack. A small D-shaped oval means your braking zone to turn one is kinked. We saw a lot of drivers make mistakes down into turns 1 and 2 and get into each other, especially late in the race when you're diving in there. It's very easy to let the car step out and rip you around. I think one thing that will help compared to Monday is these cars have a lot more mechanical grip. At least at slower speeds. They've got more suspension travel and things, so they should be a little bit more forgiving, but we'll see how things pan out tonight.
The way the brakes are in the Cup car, they're a little bit funky with how you set them up. If you're not in a straight line in these turns here, you're probably going to lock up at least a little bit in a Cup car. Much different in his Xfinity Series style car as Ben Pierce gets his times down outside the top 10, 14th to be exact. But braking, I think, is much easier as we'll go to JT Poole. Just much easier. You can go low on the bias. You really shouldn't see much locking up tonight. You might still see mistakes because it can get very loose. The rear end can easily come around in turn one, but I think you see a lot more people under control there, at least early on in the race as Poole hits the apron. And yeah, he's upset about that because that's a mistake that'll ruin his lap, but put him pretty far down the order. Oh, and he's dead.
My gosh. I was just saying,
that looked like Tuesday.
Coming off his best finish of the season for the Pro Series, second at Garland can runner up to David Weishart, but not a good qualifying effort there. Nico Garcia looking to go above JT Poole on the board.
Down the back straightaway, a little loose there. Accelerating up only a 22.495 on the opening lap. I think he'll like to do perhaps a touch better on lap number 2. See what he's got here. Best lap, a 1:15.353 as far as average speed. Now a 1:17.313 jumps him to 14th quick. And Connor Urashak was fastest in practice. This should be a pretty interesting lap. Very slow opening lap here, Connor. Wonder what he's planning or plotting to jump to the top here.
Well, I saw he was very slow. He was just kind of weaving. He actually had to go back and forth down the back straightaway just to get heat in the tires, so definitely put all his marbles in for this second lap. We'll see if it pays off. Furness's pole, he slides out of 4.
Yeah, wow.
And he doesn't go faster.
That was a good, I thought it was going to be a good lap, but it was looking at the wrong number. 22.131. It only puts him 17th quick, Hunter, so that is not the direction he wanted to go.
Yeah, he's got some ground to make up there, Urashak is. Average starting spot, he's great in qualifying, by the way. Average starting spot is around 5th to 6th for Connor Urashak, so not where he wants to be at all. And here's the points leader, Jake Nichols, heading into turn 3.
Nichols ought to be another driver to keep our eyes on tonight. And across the stripe, let's see what he's got, 21.925. That's good enough for top of the board. That is only his first lap. I don't think it seems to be the case, Connor, that it's either your first or your second. If you're trying for a good lap on lap 1, you're not going to run a good lap on lap 2, even if you try harder. And if you're trying on lap 2, your lap 1's going to stink. So you can't really get both good laps. One or the other is going to be better.
Yeah, it might be a little different from the Cup car because Cup car, those tires take multiple laps to heat up, and you're almost always trying to gun for lap 2. You don't want to heat them up like that. Matthew Bell really sideways. This might be his first lap, so he'll just run the outside, get the run out of 4 to get this lap started. Let's go to Eric Wineland instead. But yeah, just the tires in the Cup car just don't heat up. Xfinity car, they heat up rather quickly, so it really is just kind of a pick and choose as far as these cars are concerned with your qualified first or second lap.
Getting a little close there to that wall, trying to build up all the momentum on the outside and get it going, making it count for qualifying as Wineland's going to put all his effort into lap 2 for that 66.
This is what makes me a little bit nervous, is banking on that second lap. But if you try too hard on the opening lap, you can burn up your stuff and throw it away. Ryan Hartz goes to the top at a 21.871.
And that was well clear of Jake Nichols. Alan Elwood goes second as everyone's getting in near the end as Eric Wineland will pick up a little bit, but it won't be enough for further up than 29th as everyone's jumping on the board now. Munsell goes to second. Travis Beckner jumps to 5th. He's on lap number 2 as well. And all of a sudden, thought Herm's in a good spot, but now he's 7th.
Steve Beckner working through 3 and 4. 5th quickest, looking to get 4 spots above. Trying to dethrone Ryan Hartz for pole.
I don't think he likes it. Wasn't faster.
Didn't go faster, but is 5th quick. Shane Abbey is currently on a lap at the moment in the 84. Let's see what he's got. Lap 1, 1:16.225 miles an hour average. Only good enough for 32nd. And AJ Roderick, I don't know if he's on a quick lap. He will start one, though, on this second lap.
We'll see what he can do as he comes out the gate. 32nd on the sheet. Pretty far down the order with a 40-car field after Steve Durham's late addition.
That's better. 21,984 puts him ninth.
Pretty solid. There's not too many more to go. AJ Roderick, lap number 2, also faster, and at least a clean one, 21st position. And we got 2 minutes to go, and now finally, James Scioli rolls off pit road.
Ooh, here comes the 7. This should make it interesting, but 2 more minutes left for Ryan Hartz. If he can hold on to this, it'll be his 2nd pole of the season, and it's been a season to forget for Ryan Hartz in the Pro Series. Best finishes, 6th at Kentucky and 16th at Dover. Every other finish has been outside the top 30, and oddly enough, his only pole of the season came from Dover, which is kind of like a super speedway / short track hybrid. Well, I'm not getting into that argument, but 1 mile or less, Ryan Hartz seems to be quick.
Well, I know it's not a super speedway.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Dover's a place that, it's really close to being a short track, but I consider it a speedway. Places like Richmond and Iowa, I classify myself as a short track. Personally, though, they just kind of drive like a short track. But James Scioli, 39th on lap 1. He's going to put all the marbles in for the 2nd lap. There's only one other driver that's just joined us. That's Brandon Bowie in the 23. That makes us a 40-car field, 20 rows of cars qualifying here for round 9 of the season.
Scioli's pretty good out of the corner. See what this is.
Not good
9th.
enough. I don't think Bowie's going to get a
pretty much
shot.
it.
Yeah, that's going to be it for qualifying here. Brandon Bowie will not get a chance to qualify. He will start at the tail of the field. Here's a quick look here at the qualifying results for Richmond, and Ryan Hartz and Justin Munsell share that front row. I picked Justin, was it on Tuesday, to win the race, and that was an ill-fated decision. He finished dead last, so I don't know if I want to redo that choice tonight. Alan Elwood and Jake Nichols on the outside, or the inside and outside of row 2, then Beckner and Furness. Row 3, Cameron Hearn, David Weishart, then James Scioli and Shane Abbey. But definitely for Connor Urashak, he has got some work to do, Connor.
Yeah, definitely has some work to do, as we got 2 former winners. Greg Mitchell was 17th. He was the season 3 winner here in a turn of events. Some good qualifying runs. Garrett Grant 13th. He's great at this track. Alex Bell in 11th. He was 2nd in practice. That's going to be interesting to see if he can stay up there. The 88 was fast last week. But yeah, like you said, Urashak has plenty of work to do. Down in 30th position, just behind Jeremy Miller as we go through all 40 cars in this field. So it is going to be a frantic start with all these cars in the field, but someone as fast as Urashak, he's going to be gunning through here, trying to get through as fast as possible. So Hunter, that should be fun to watch.
Fun indeed, and I didn't get a chance to talk about him, but Alan Elwood qualified 3rd, and after last week's heartbreaking finish at Darlington, seemed like he was in place to get a top 10, top 5, maybe even a win, but then got caught up in a wreck, finished 40th. He is more determined than ever now, and especially if we got 4 races left in the regular season. Sitting 27th in the point standings, he's in a must-win situation, and that's against that top 20, and he was 6th quickest in practice, and keep my eye on that 10 car. I'm already going to make my pick. Alan Elwood gets the job done tonight.
All right, Elwood's your pick. I'm going to wait till we grid up, and we'll talk more about our picks, but we'll keep that one in mind for Hunter. Give him a second to maybe rethink his choice also, just in case. Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise, all at the price of just $5 a month. And start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. Cars are taking to the grid tonight, guys. 150 laps, Connor. This could be a pretty short race if it goes green from flag to flag, which is possible. But we could see a rash of yellows like we saw on Monday and Tuesday, and we'll see how things pan out.
Yeah, definitely have to see how things pan out. This is a much bigger field than we had on Monday night as well. And these cars, while I think the braking's better, they're a little bit more out of control through and on the exit of corners. So we're probably having to look at the exits to see where the real chaos might happen.
Kicking things off on the front row, it's Ryan Hartz in the number 3. Justin Munsell starts alongside him in the number 6 Toyota Supra.
Alan Elwood in the 3rd position, starting 3rd because I just said so. And then Jake Nichols will start in the 4th position. I'll say it right now, 73 is my pick. He starts 4th.
And rolling off in 5th place is Travis Beckner. He'll start alongside John Furness in the 28. I'll take that 27 on my money tonight. Travis Beckner wins this race.
7th position, one guy none of us picked, the 2-time winner at this track, Cameron Hearn. He starts 7th. David Weishart will start 8th.
And starting 9th place, row 5, James Scioli has a bunch of wins this season. He's just looking to pad the efforts. Shane Abbey starts 10th in the number 84.
Alex Bell 2nd in practice, but starts 11th from qualifying. Chris Rabel in that Mustang alongside 12th.
And 13th place, it's Garrett Grant in the number 5 Ford Mustang. Richard Thomas starts 14th in the 37.
2 fast drivers starting about mid-pack. Danny Ware in the 49, who had trouble on Tuesday night at Michigan, but we're back at Richmond, so that should work out for him. He starts 15th. Matthew Bell starts 16th.
And Greg Mitchell rolls off 17th in the number 2 Ford. Bryce Senesac 18th in the 09.
Anna Sogak, 19th. Another driver who did good at Michigan, but has to adjust back to the short track. Shane Therian, our winner at Charlotte, starts 20th.
And 21st place, Jordan Martin in the 38 Chevy. Adrian Roderick starts 22nd in the 56.
Number 50, the Supra, ever recognizable Case Licatus. In 23rd, Alex Weaver in Coca-Cola Camaro starts 24th.
And Brody Falliker starts 25th in the 42. Delonte Ballard 26th in the number 21.
Clayton Montgomery, the number 45, in Simrat Markets Camaro, starts 27th. Nico Garcia, same sponsor, probably the same team, starts 28th.
Jeremy Miller, 29th place in the number 30. Connor Euroshak, hold the dig, starts 30th in the number 12.
Ben Pierce starts 31st, alongside his 78 Julio Villalobos Jr. That's the pronunciation I'll go with. He did not run last week, but a month ago, I guess, at this point, had a great 3rd place finish in Charlotte.
Yeah, he's one to watch for sure. 33rd will be Eric Wineland. Joey Chapman starts 34th in the number 60.
JT Poole all the way back in 35th. A little surprised to see him back here, but did not nail his qualifying time. He'll start alongside Ed Robertson in 36th, who on my screen is still on his throwback scheme.
And in 37th place, it'll be Bronson Stafford in the number 61. Steve Durham starts 38th in the number 1.
And the final row is why I love 2-lap pace laps, because we can get this done. Spencer Brown, the Supra Midnight Energy Supra, starts 39th. Brandon Bowie, the only driver not to put down a time. He'll start shotgun on the field in 40th position.
Hunter, you chose Alan Elwood to win this race. Are you going to stick with it or revise your decision?
I will stick with it. His last win came at a short track in Bristol, which was a full calendar year, so he's due for one.
All right, so I got the 27 of Beckner. Connor, yours
the 73.
Was the 73. That's a safe pick. And we all picked drivers inside the top 5. No surprises there, but we'll see what surprises are at the end of 150 laps here at Richmond Raceway. The Florida State Builders Area Pro Series is green and already fanning out 3 wide.
A bit of a stack up. Richard Thomas was out of the line, but everyone's clear into turn number 1. But now the question's out of turn number 2 if everyone gets through.
Seems like a couple are going to scrape the wall in the back of the pack, but Justin Munsell fighting for the lead on the first lap. Hart's going to fight back on the bottom, door to door. I think Munsell got that lap heading into 1.
And down off into the first corner here. Ryan Hartz didn't lead it, Munsell did. So there's an on board there with Justin as he tries to wrestle the lead away, but Hartz has the prevailing line here on the bottom, and he will take the lead away.
He accidentally
spin straight away. The 21 of Ballard is around, going to get clobbered by somebody. Stopped there. That's Spencer Brown, the 95. Yep.
First caution pretty early on, and that's a decent amount of back-end damage to the 21 from that late contact, as it's going to have to get fixed up. We saw Sam Fontaine on Tuesday recover from losing the front end, or rear end. Should have to hear, looked like that was Euroshak into the wall.
Yeah, Ballard just tried to avoid him. Oh, man. You can see Spencer doing everything he could do to slow that car down, and he just did not want to do it. Watch the 12 here. Bounces off the wall, catches Ballard in the nose, then gets tipped off the nose of Nico Garcia, who did an excellent job slowing down. And then, Spencer almost had it stopped, but just could not quite. And you can't see anything here. You have no idea that there's a crash happening. All of a sudden, too late, already on the brakes. He did as much as he could do, I think, in that instance.
And that was just tight racing at Richmond. The exit of turn number 2 gets so tight. Those are almost prone to happen, especially when you're 3 wide. Euroshak was in the wall, but he was in the wall when the 21 made contact. So I feel like they just ran out of room to make that work. And that's just a product of this track, because we'll see if the 21 gets that thing back going.
Cars slowing after a couple laps of racing. Reinhardt's Justin Munsell, though, Hunter had the lead for a moment and then relegated himself back to second. But is there a strength on an outside lane here? If you get a good launch, do you think you can hold that upper groove?
I think we just saw it there. I don't think it's going to help on the restarts. I was going to say it was similar to what we saw Monday night where Jake Nichols just took command, or was it Sky? I forget who was on the outside lane, but whoever was there took command. I think it was Jake Nichols. I only went pole and I took control early on that outside lane on the initial start, and took the lead and never looked back, at least for a few moments. But something similar to what we just saw occurred on Monday. But since then, the restarts, if you're the leader, you can go anywhere inside that box. It is such an advantage to restart on the bottom.
Such an advantage to be restarting in the lead. And as we've seen with late race yellows and green-white checkers, a lot of drivers are opting to go with track position late in the game, Connor, because of how much an advantage leading the race is. But the second you get put on that outside lane, all of a sudden you're getting swarmed and swamped.
Yeah, and like Hunter said, I think at this track, or really any track, on initial starts, that guy in second has just as big of a chance at the lead as does the guy on the pole. But on these restarts, the leader gets to go whenever in that restart zone and can usually just jump out ahead. You saw if you time it wrong in second place, you get a penalty and you ruin your race. That's what happened to, I believe it was Connor O'Kresick on Monday night. So you got to be careful if you're that second place driver in Munsell, but you have to make sure you're even with them. So track position is going to matter a lot at a track like this. With this big of a field, there's a lot of potential for yellows, so you really want to make sure you're ahead of that.
It was by the slimmest of margins, too, with O'Kresick. It was like Jacob Bell almost winning both Super Speedway races last season in the Cup Series, just by a fraction of a second, Kyle.
Yeah, that was third. Well, let's see what the restart holds for us here. Lap 7 of 150. Green flag in the inside lane from Weishart on back. Didn't go, but we're back underway.
Much cleaner restart that time. I think when everyone reacts on green, it causes potential incidents on the initial start at a short track, but the restart's a little cleaner. Munsell with a big dive to the bottom. He might have gotten into the 3 of Reinhardt's, but now he hits the apron. Here comes Furness on the top side.
Boy, Munsell's got a handful behind him with Elwood, and on the outside, it's Furness looking to take second away cleanly through 1 and 2. Hart's going to try and set sail. Here comes a 28 of Furness on the outside as we stay on board with the 6.
There's that 28 throttling up in the upper groove in that Ford Mustang. He's got those elbows up and out, but now the outside paying dividends here. Once the cars are up to speed, there's momentum to be had up there, but that's a delicate line that you have to kind of work on throughout the evening.
Yeah, definitely have to work on it. And Furness was fast here last season, just didn't really get the tire strategy to go his way, and Cameron Hearn was just kind of shot out of a can in that race as well. He led over 2/3 of that race, but fast here, definitely a threat for a win if Cameron Hearn can't find his way up there. Hearn's actually in a battle with David Weishart for about the 7th position, gets to nose out in front into turn number 1. He's behind another 2x2, another 2-wide battle. It's Jake Nichols-Beckner for 5th.
Beckner to the outside of Nichols. We're going into turn 3 for 5th on the track, and Hearn getting closer to that bumper of Travis Beckner. And I said it Monday, Kyle, those two, the love is not lost between the 27 and the 4. They're always the bestest of friends on and off the track.
Yeah, well, you know, it's interesting because this is one of the few rivalries, you know, we're talking about this actually before the broadcast tonight, that seems to transcend the series. These two are never shy to lean on each other, and it creates some excitement, but here comes Cameron to the outside of the 27.
Well, not only those two, but the driver just behind David Weishart, James Scioli, it's almost the same thing with him and Beckner coming together Tuesday night as well. So, Seven's really fast. It's got to get by him eventually, but it seems like every other week those two get into it and take out others, and the same has happened with Cameron Hearn and Travis Beckner in the past. So, got to pick and choose your battles early on here, but that 4 looks like he's coming to the front quickly, and it seems like there's no passing opportunities on that bottom right now.
I was just about to ask, is that something to do with tire management? Because we didn't see too much tire fall off Monday night, but with the Xfinity cars, there's a lot more tire fall off. Is the bottom the preferred way for the early going, or how do you see it, Colin?
I think I'd rather be on the bottom to save. Also, with the way this front stretch is, you almost want to keep low on the exit just to keep less of a burden on the rear tires, because you're going to need those rear tires here. So I would be running the bottom if I'm alone, but if you need the gain track position and pass, it's going to be really hard to pass on that bottom line because like Richard Thomas is doing here, you can just pinch that driver on the bottom down in Bryce Senesac, get the run off the corner, and likely re-clear him unless you're that much lower, that much slower. But so it is so hard to get something done on that bottom side. So if you need to go, you go to the high side. But if you're just trying to keep in check and keep those tires from heating up, you're wrapping that yellow line and even probably staying a groove lower on that front stretch than you would normally.
Out of turn 4, Senesac and Richard Thomas still nose to nose here. Bottom versus top. This track, I don't recall this, in past years being all that multi-groove, but as these, stock car variations came and went and different tires came and went, and the track has aged, it seems like even in the real world, the outside lane has all of a sudden become a very usable line here. And Senesac's going to lose a spot to Thomas and Greg Mitchell as the two powers around the outside. Just ahead of them, Shane Abbey and Alex Bell battling for 11th.
Yeah, this battle's going on right now. I remember it was like 6 years ago where the top line in 3 and 4 really came in well when that was like the peak of dynamic track and V6 tire. We haven't really seen that anymore, but like you said, that middle line has always, any series, anything runs here, that middle line is always used for potential defense and offense as well. So we'll definitely be seeing that a lot more tonight as we're seeing Cameron Hearn try a third lane in turns 1 and 2, but not working out quite yet as he goes after the 73 for 5th, as Mitchell, Senesac, Ware, Matthew Bell all battling for the same position.
I was about to ask if they were catching lap traffic with how high the 4 of Hearn was running through the turn, but back up front, battle for the lead. Furness worked around the outside of Munsell to get in this spot, but Hart's keeping it going on the outside in the 3.
Is 28 maybe a dark horse, guys? We didn't really talk a lot about him, but he's been pretty successful on tracks like short tracks and road courses, which carry over lots of different skills. Maybe he's a driver to watch tonight in this 28. Down to the inside here, big lunge. The 4 is very high in 1 and 2, trying something uniquely different. And Hart's disappearing for a moment, but reappearing in the lead.
Yeah, this is what what I was talking about with just when you don't get the room to launch off the corner at Richmond off that inside line like you need. This is exactly what happens if you try to pass on the bottom. You get that guy just completely pinching you down, ruining your exit, and they'll just keep that lead until you just get tired of him and just bump them out of the way. I did the Travis on Monday. I ran the top. I was definitely holding him up, and he ended up moving me. But this is probably what Furness would have to do to get the job done, or just power around, try to get to his right rear on corner exit as well. But that's going to be very tough to do with how fast that 3 is right now.
Just watch the onboard from Cameron Hearn. He scraped the wall coming out too, but he is getting every bit of that outside warmed up.
Yeah. It works.
Rubbering up that outside lane. It's, he's gaining some ground here and there, but it definitely leaves you susceptible to getting go from the inside as he has a bit of a bobble there on corner exit. There are some to gain, some to lose up there. But right now he's the first driver really experimenting with the way high lane.
I saw Matheson try it Monday. It worked a little bit, but that was really the last green flag run I really saw anyone trying it. From my viewpoint, that's a little too high. It might hit the wall there. It works. He can get under Jake Nichols, but that bottom line pass, it just seems so impossible right now. If he could clear for 73, doing that, get enough of a run doing that, I'd consider it a decent line, but I think you're just really going to hurt the tires doing that. But if you can stay out of Beckner, it's not too bad, as now Jake Nichols has a run on Alan Elwood. Elwood's just going to give it to him.
Kind of played a long game is the 10 of Alan Elwood, as you see him fighting on the steering wheel. Started in 3rd, only down to 5th now, so a solid top 5 showing going for the 10 of Alan Elwood.
Is there pressure on Elwood, Hunter, given the season that he's had? Is there pressure to win or to perform, or is it just one of those seasons that you, at a certain point, just say, all right, this isn't going to be my year, and focus energy elsewhere?
I'd definitely say there's some pressure because he did take a season off to care after his firstborn child, and there's definitely some rust that came off of that because he did run trucks. He actually had to switch from Thursdays to Tuesdays for his availability in area just so he can tend to the baby, but now it's shifted back to Thursday and just trying to get some of that rust off. But it looked like he was going to have his best race of the season last week at Darlington. So it seems like he's starting to get into the right rhythm at the right time. But 27th in points, you're going to need a win and inside the top 20 to get in. As behind him, though, you see the 4 of Hearn still fighting that 27 of Beckner.
And in through 3 and 4. Cameron, trying this upper groove. It was gaining him some a little while ago. I think it's losing him time now. About 2/10 off the next quickest driver head. Not sure that, well, that time he ran quicker, 23:070. Maybe there is something to be had, but you have to be very precise. Now he drops to the middle, and here comes Travis Becker looking halfway up the inside.
It might be faster when you're alone, but it's just not gathering enough of a run for him to make a pass. That time he was a little slower than the drivers ahead, as Jake Nichols looks on Munsell for third, nothing there. But I could only imagine 20 laps from now, it's really going to be starting to bite him doing that, and it's what we're seeing already. I think we're seeing him drop back to Beckner, Scioli, and David Weishart. As Weishart's going to try that middle line, not really working. Oh, we got a spin in front of these two.
And
I think it was Alex Bell.
I think
it looks like he saved it.
Yep. And the caution is out. I don't think there was anything else that triggered it.
That's where the smoke came from. Might see pit stops this time after 30 laps. You have the sim record replay. Oh yeah, definitely him.
Now off the bumper of the 5 here, maybe Garrett Grant. Oh yeah.
Huh. They just had contact under a yellow. Not those two. Danny Ware. They're not Danny Ware. Matthew Bell just slammed the back end of Richard Thomas. I think that was accidental, but now they both have damage. Let's watch this, Hunter. I think it happened before this. The field comes down to pit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That looks every bit like it was accidental there, but either way.
Pace car pulls up rather quickly here.
So first pit stops at lap 31, and Danny Ware rolls through, didn't stop in the box. Casey Lakatos rolled through, Sogak rolled through, Weishart 2 tires.
I was just about to say, is it too early to try 2 tires?
I think this is the perfect time to try 2 tires. You're only a fifth of the way through the race. Why wouldn't you?
If you're going to experiment, you experiment now, not later. So I guess you would do that now. So we'll see. Unfortunately for him, he's the only one who did it, so it might not work out for him. As you can see, everyone else coming off pit road, and the 88 will pit. The 50 will stay out just to get that lap led, then come in, as that's always Case Lakatos' strategy. As who's the other one that rolled through? Danny Ware also pit. So we'll see what happens. See if the 33 can keep some track position. He did this from about 7th or 8th position. 9th, actually.
Yeah, I'm always a proponent of, you're going to test a strategy like this. The first pit stop, a great time to test it, because you've got the entire race to make up for your mistakes if it was indeed a mistake. So I'm definitely team test the 2 tires now. Definitely not test the 2 tires 3/4 of the way through the race, or in front of the field, 3/4 of the way through the race when there's a lot to lose and not much to gain.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is the time to do so. So you just hope if you're Weishart, you get maybe like a 20 or 30 lap run to test, because if you take 2 tires near the end, you're just trying to do it for a short run to the end, and you don't really want to lose a track position late. So you got to see what happens here, as we'll get the EOLs done and get back to restarting. Likely 2 to green here, by the way. Garrett Grant gets the EOL for causing that. Also, I think they did give Matthew Bell an EOL for that under yellow contact. So 2 EOLs.
JT Poole slowly clawing his way through the pack. Started 35th, he's up to 20th. Connor Urashak is going to improve to 15th after this pit stop sequence. He did take 4 tires. Eric Wineland is another 2-tire trier. He will be 14th for the restart.
I think I don't know who's been following who, but Connor Urashak and Jeremy Miller have been right next to each other this entire race. Wineland, like you said, he passed them both and went further up the field, but Miller and Urashak have been next to each other, neck and neck, this entire race, and they're up into the top 16 because of it. So a number of drivers making their way through the field, as the top 10's actually pretty much been the top 10 this entire race. No one who started 11th or on back has climbed into that top 10 quite yet.
Should be an interesting restart here with the 2 tires from David Weishart. This was the strategy to win Monday night, and Weishart trying to test that theory out if it's the winning strategy for tonight's race.
It was a winning strategy very close to the end of the race as well, so we'll see if it can last at least a couple of laps. Green flag, a great launch there by the 33. You won't want that kind of a launch at Talladega in a couple weeks, but at a short track, you will take all the room you can get.
You're definitely going to go for that jump into turn one, just getting away from everything, get clean air on the nose, and use those two tires the best you can. Furness and Hartz, they're going to fight to see who can get a shot at the 33 first. It's going to be Furness getting the advantage on the former leader of Ryan Hartz. Hartz has a run, clears Justin Munsell back. First side-by-side battle will be Alan Elwood and Jake Nichols for fifth.
A little further back to the mid-pack. Got some side-by-side action going on here with the 49.
Whole bunch of cars back here. A couple scattering across the road here. Shane Theron in the 9 is one of them. Alex Weaver is another. Connor Urashak has gone backwards since the restart.
I think it was Urashak into the wall, and that's where the scrambling came from. That's why Miller came up in front of him. I don't think he really liked that mistake. But either way, he's by the 12, working over, getting back by Alex Weaver. 30 and 12 looking strong right now, as looks like Greg Mitchell's trying to work into the top 10. Eric Wineland's up all the way to 12th.
66 having a strong run. Just behind him, car trying to make the pass on the track there. Chris Rabel was inside the top 10 at one point. But look at the ground Wineland's made up. All the way back in 33rd and all the way up to 12th.
And notably, gained a couple spots on the restart here. I'm liking this move of the two tires, at least for the short term here, especially if we get a couple of short runs side by side ahead of them.
Yeah, short runs, I think David Weissart, the only drawback to this is that you're proving it to everyone else as well.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Now everyone, Furness, Hartz, all the front runners are like, oh, that works, all right, that's what I'll do. So it's good that you know that it works. Now everyone knows that it works, so you're not going to catch everyone by surprise with it as well. As Hart's starting to fall back. Here goes Elwood for third. They might make contact.
Whoa, slide!
Kept it straight though, and Hartz keeps the spot. My gosh.
Got a little too much there going into one. Munsell was on the drop back, and Elwood passed him, past the 73, tried to get a little too much and go for third from the 3 of Hartz, but slid into turn 1 and parking it back on the bottom. Here comes Nichols to the outside for fourth.
Just behind him, see Justin Munsell and Cameron Hearn as well in a pack in the rear view there. A little slide and slip by Elwood leaving turn 2.
Hearn, obviously not surprising to see him back up into the middle, but short run, this is definitely short run is where I want to be for pass, but just in general, as he's just going to follow Jake Nichols through. Now the 10 with that slide on his tires, he's going to have to calm down a little bit. Might get freight trained by the 73 and the 4, as Hearn's going to get the right rear, almost make contact, as the 10 and the 6 falling back just a little bit.
Yeah, now he's going to have to try and get back in line somehow, whether that be in between the 73 and the 4 or letting Hearn go by for fifth, as they're still door-to-door in the turn 1, and you have to park it behind him, whether that's a strategy Elwood wants to take. But the 6 of Munsell is definitely taking that strategy. Let everyone go on the outside and preserve the tire on the bottom. He's doing so in 3 and 4.
Looking laps away, guys, and one of the things I noticed is that Weissart has been out front now since the restart, and actually was able to gain some ground on John Furness initially. So we'll see if he's able to continue that trend, or if he'll start to slip backwards at some point. Usually you'll see this kind of work for a couple laps, 10, 15, maybe 20, and then they fall off a cliff and drop back into the field. But really the question mark is how long can you last before that you hit that cliff, and that's when the earliest possible time you can hit pit lane when we got a late race caution.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. He got out to a half-second lead. John Furness is starting to catch him back, but he's been out front for the lead 10 green flag laps now, so that's another thing to think about is if these can hold on for maybe 20 laps, if he keep the lead for that long, then it opens up even more possibilities for potential strategy in this race. So we'll just have to wait and see. We didn't get a long run with Seth Knoll on 2 tires. We probably didn't even get a run longer than what we're seeing right now with the leader on 2 tires. So this is definitely going to shake things up for a late race restart and just change everyone's perspective on what they're going to do.
Well, I questioned if it was still too early to do so. I mean, it didn't hurt. He's gotten the lead and currently on pace to set most laps led in the race. But like you mentioned, now everyone else is seeing that, and it's like, oh, okay, well, if that works, then I'm just going to keep that in the memory bank. And whenever we get a yellow with like 20 to go, 15 to go, I'm just going to take 2. Heck, I might even stay out and see if that works rather than coming in taking 2, but we'll have to see. Still over 100 laps left, Kyle.
Yeah, this race, I don't want to jinx it, but we've seen some green flag running tonight. And how does that change the picture? Because I think if we're running green, you probably want 4 tires every time. I think the 2 tires is a really good track position call, especially because passing seems to be challenging so far. But again, if we're going to run this green to the end, I want 4, and Weishart doesn't have 4 tires right now. So you have to be careful of the position you put yourself in. And if we get a caution soon, I wouldn't be the first driver to put 2 tires on yet. I would save that as a tool in the tool basket for later in the night when I could use the track position and don't need the longevity.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see drivers kind of switch it up based on what everyone else is doing. As Furness gets that run off the middle, he's going to dive in, take the lead away from David Weishart into the corner, try to clear him on exit, which he does. Weishart kind of gives it to him. So 28 back in front, pulling away from the next driver on new tires and hards. He's up on him by a second. That's probably the gap we'll need to see as the 33 starts to fade a little bit here. And we got a yellow just like that. And it's, big crash. Kenna Sogak and Julio Villalobos.
Cars involved and some damage to the 78, but mostly to the 88. Let's see what happened between these two here.
Hang on, who pits? It might work out for the 33.
88 is Sogak on the bottom. Villalobos on the top side here, and that was ugly. Kind of hooked them together. Yeah. I have to look at this maybe from the top down to get a better idea of if the 88 drifted up or if the 78 didn't really track out, Connor.
I mean, yeah, they kind of both came together. I heard Anastoka on the radio. First off, very unhappy based on the language. Also, he said he let him down. 78's kind of where you would be, I suppose. But yeah. I don't know. It just seems like tight off the corner at Richmond to me. Oh. But I think Justin's issue was that the 78 gave him the lane and then raced him down. So that's his issue, as we got some pit stops, but not everyone. Much more split this time around.
Yeah, so this is going to be Beckner's on pit lane, Furness is on pit lane, Danny Ware, Matthew Bell, Alex Bell, JT Poole. But from Jake Nichols on down to 17th, they have not hit. That's going to get track position for Connor Yershak. They have 21 laps on this set of tires. With how things have gone, I wouldn't have been shy to pit there, Connor. I think I would have probably preferred to have tires based on what we've seen so far.
I think if you get a green flag run here, it's going to be an issue, but we haven't seen a run longer than pretty much what we just saw there. As looking at the fall off, Jake Nichols' fastest lap, he's going to assume the lead, by the way. So you're on a 22.2. His times were down about 0.7 of a second already, so it is going to be a big difference. There's a lot of drivers that stayed out, but those guys on new tires should get through the field pretty well. That includes Weishart, who took 4 tires this time. Julio will get the EOL for that incident, by the way, but this should definitely mix things up. I know what we started seeing on Tuesday night at a big track in Michigan.
Race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. And we've seen a couple of SimRat Market replays tonight. Race fans, head over to simratmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple and easy to use, so it keeps you more focused on the racetrack. Hunter, we're just past the 1/3 mark of this race, lap 54 of 150, and seeing strategies start to split, track position, different lines. What do you make of this race so far?
It's a good mix of everything in between. You got some good action going on up front with the jockeying for the lead, and then, like you mentioned, the different strategies, guys staying out. The top 16 have stayed out. Everyone else behind them has come down and hit. So it should make for an interesting restart. And depending on where Jake Nichols chooses, if he chooses outside, this will really be interesting. And it looks like he might do just that.
And he will. So outside lane for the restart, Alan Elwood will have the bottom. And every one of the top 15 now, 2 drivers peeled off to hit pit lane. From Nichols back to Joey Chapman, they are on 24-lap-old tires. And from John Furness on back, they are on brand new Goodyears and a fresh tank of fuel for this restart. About half and half.
We'll just have to see how quickly they get through the field. Furness is first on new tires in position, but Weishart will have the bottom line. I would think I want the top for versatility, but also, like we always say, if a wreck happens, you got almost nowhere to go. But at least it might be enough wide enough at Richmond where maybe he can do something. So should be fun.
All right, coming to the restart here, it's Jake Nichols, the control car, the purple and black Toyota GR Supra. Green flag, we're back racing here in Richmond.
Big stack up on the bottom. Chris Rabel did not go. He'll go 3 wide for about 9th for a moment.
Oh, look at the 28 of Furness looking like Superman through the middle.
That was quick. He's already up to the battle for 10th. And what I thought that top would work better, Weishart's pinned in, and John Furness is already in the top 10.
Weishart on the bumper of Montgomery coming out of turn 4, going to send it 3 wide down into turn 1, trying to make up all that ground. As he saw the 28, the 3 starting to get going now, as they're still jockeying inside the top 10 or so, but Weishart got a lot of ground to make up.
Ooh, big lunge here into 3 on
that's
Alex
4
Weaver. We are 4 for a moment. That's the 26 of JT Poole, and this is a squeeze on exit. The 3 of Ryan Hartz is in the middle.
He and Miller at contact. Now they'll stay 3 wide and be 3 wide with a different set of 2 on the top. That's low-dollar teammates. Now JT Poole can't follow through. Miller's tight off the bottom. They're going to crash. Nico Garcia in the wall. Miller gets hit. Beckner's around. Caution's out.
Wow, that was not going to work the way they were racing, going into 1 and 2, and just too tight coming off turn 2, and that's all it took for the 27 of Beckner to go around.
So our third caution of the night, lap 59, Travis Beckner gets the worst of it. Let's see what led to that. Already catching it mid-crash here, but 30 tracks up, gets into the 41, back across the racetrack, and everyone for the most part missed him, but it's tagged from the 30 there, and then Beckner just kind of drove across the nose of the 41, but he got squeezed there a little bit, and then got run out of room.
Yeah, 30 Miller kind of ran him out of room, and then nowhere Nico Garcia could go. So maybe a little bit on the 30 there. It's a good job, everyone getting through. I saw Alex Bell maybe got a tap into the outside wall, but either way, mostly everyone somehow survives this. There's probably the least amount of space to go anywhere here at this track is the back straightaway. Garcia maybe came down a little bit, but still not much he could do besides lift and pray. But everyone did a good job getting through.
Yeah, it was surprising that was only a 1, maybe 2 car incident, as the 30 had a little swipe there and Garcia was in the wall, but looked like they were going to pile up about 5 from 10 of them.
Could have been a lot worse than it was. 90 laps to go now, our third caution of the night. This race now, as it approaches the halfway point, we have the tendency for this race to go by pretty quick when the laps are ticking off. Short tracks, when your lap times are 22, 23 seconds, Connor, it's amazing how quickly they can go when you're running green flag laps and how slow they can drag when you're under yellow. So you can't let this, the slower pace of this middle portion of this race get you off guard, and then you restart and you only have 20 minutes left. You got to keep that in mind that when you go back green, this is only about a half hour worth of racing.
Our track position matters so much more here because those laps click off, and when you get a late race yellow, they click off so fast. You'll go from lap 60 to about lap 125 in an instant, and you won't even know what happened. So you just, you got to be on your game. Like you said, you got to make sure you keep track position at all times. You start going backwards during a green flag run, you are in trouble. So we'll just have to see what everyone else does, how everyone else drives. We have differing tire strategies right now. John Furness is up to 8th on his new set of tires already. The next closest on new tires, Ryan Hartz, is 2 rows behind in 12th. And then Weishart and JT Poole. I don't believe JT Poole's on new tires. He might be, but Cameron Hart definitely is. And he's about 4th or 5th on new tires and 15th. So Furness made quick work of majority of the field.
Here that Beckner might have had a moment where he had to jump out of the throttle here, right here. Had to stop on the brakes to avoid getting into the back of the 3 of Hartz. Watch from high above here. Right there, off the 30 as well.
Hart's a little low on the track there. Old tires versus new tires. Those old tires can't pinch it down as well, so that's kind of what led to it. But them lifting out definitely kind of led to Beckner being swept up in this.
Yeah, it was ruled a racing incident. I can't say I disagree with that assessment. 60 is, that was something out of the movie Cars. Just beat the pace car. and he will get to stay on the lead lap. That was close.
That was incredibly close. We got the 1 to green right there as well. He had a great run last night and did not get the finish he deserved, or 2 nights ago at Michigan. We'll see if he has the same luck. That's a little bit of luck to keep on the lead lap there. We'll see if he can get through the field now. He's going to restart about 37th.
All right, coming to the restart. Lap 64 of 150. Jake Nichols not wasting any time. Right back to the restart zone. He's off and away. And look who's lingering in the inside of row 2.
James Scioli, same tire strategy. 2 teammates kind of lined up on the bottom, made themselves get back into the top 2, but Elwood's going to hang to that right rear, try to keep this spot from Scioli. As meanwhile, in the background, new tires mixing with old tires, still rough and rowdy, almost 3 wide. Wineland in the wall, but he keeps it straight as Cameron Hearn wants that 3 wide move. He's not going to take it though.
In a better spot now that he's ahead of the 3 wide situation, but still got some ground to make up. Oh, contact. Weaver having a little moment.
He's going to bail to the apron here, which I think is a great idea. Filtering back in here is going to be tough, but that pit wall gets close on exit, and he will drop towards the tail of the field. That's frustrating, but I think he did the right thing there, Connor. There's no way you're going to blend back in the middle of the back straightaway heading into a turn with 3 wide behind you.
Yeah, that's probably a smart thing to do. Makes it work, but that track position is going to be tough to gain back, although we got the time to do so. So that's all sorted out for now. As sorted out as this track ever will be on restarts. Here goes this battle still going on for second. Elwood's got the advantage now. It's just that bottom line. You get pinned down, no one can seem to do anything, and Elwood's keeping the 7 at check right now. John Furness, meanwhile, back up to 5th. His progress was not as fast this time, but he's got back higher Wineland. That's really where everything's still pretty stacked up behind that 66.
Ryan Hartz was wiggling off turn 2, having the JT Pool machine closing in on his bumper as he's looking to get past Senesag. A little further up the road, 12 of Euroshag looking to the inside of Wineland as Hearn tries that 3rd lane.
Ran out of room.
Yeah, it's so interesting as you leave turn 2. All the lanes converge right up against that outside wall, and if you're running that high lane, you have to be careful of taking that run right into a closing gap. More contact there between Euroshag and Wineland.
Couldn't tell if Wineland was turning off the wall or didn't approve, but they seem like they've had a clean battle so far, and it's going to be tight 2x2, 2 low-dollar cars, and you got Wineland, and then I don't remember. I think Hartz might be IRLC, but I'm not good with teams, so I know who's on my team. That's about as close as I go. Either way, they're 2x2. Ryan Hartz wants that 3 wide move so bad, but staying as patient as he can be right now. All this happened behind Matsu's 5th.
Trying to close in on that win is the 3 of Hartz after a rough go this season so far. Still plenty of races left to change that. Running with the 66 of Wineland battling inside the top 10, trying to get closer to that top 5. Wineland's in the middle of 3 wide coming in turn 1.
He sure is. This is going to be tough to get out of. JT Poole on the outside, Cameron Hearn on the inside, and David Weishart barking up the tailpipes here. Jane Therian, Greg Mitchell, and others. Mid-pack is the most exciting place on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, meanwhile, while that goes on, more calm at the front. John Furness back up to the 2nd position. He'll try chasing down Jake Nichols, who got a decent 1/8 of a second lead, but it got chopped down by Furness, even though that 28 was battling. But yeah, 7th on back. 7th all the way back to about 17th is a war zone right now. 2x2, people looking 3 wide but not taking it, and I'm sure a lot of drivers are impatient. Probably why Hearn's going to the way Tom Sykes through and 4, just trying to find the lane to get by these guys. It is a struggle right now as we had smoke out of 4 last time by. Could not tell who it was, but no one sideways on track currently.
Joey Chapman has come down to pit lane. I don't know exactly what for, but he's off track.
I just looked back, it was him. He had an incident. He and Delonte Ballard had incident, and that was actually somewhat of a crash, I would say, but it didn't bring out a yellow from what I saw. The 21 has no front bumper out of that, and there was no yellow, so actually significant contact.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy.
Getting sideways and chasing it up the hill in turn 1. Now he's looking 3 wide, going into 3.
Gosh, that's tight.
Oh, we're looking 4. That can't work.
Man, side by side of the turn 4. Poole, Munsell, Hearn, 3 wide, and almost 4 with the 12 of Euroshak, who's made his way up to 6th.
Is getting tight. Cameron Hearn almost put it 4 wide in the middle of the corner. That usually never works, but he is going to kind of muscle his way past the low-dollar teammates. He gets by, clears Euroshack, and those two, at least Euroshack definitely doesn't have tires. He should drive away. More 3 wide. That's Theory and David trying to get to the inside David Weishart. Weishart, he has not made these new tires work quite as well. He's only up to 9th compared to some others. Meanwhile, John Furness has taken that lead back away from Jake Nichols.
We're going to start setting sail now as we're past the halfway point of this race. Euroshack.
Spin. It's Steve Durham.
Caution out, 4th time tonight. Let's see what happened to Steve. Already catching the tail end of it here.
Wow. Big hit. It is
loose and then gets turned off the nose of the 37 of Richard Thomas and into the fence apart.
Another case of turn 2, nothing he could do, just got loose, and Richard Thomas he can't do anything at that point, as looks like almost everyone's going to come down and get 4 fresh tires, and Steve Durham could very well be out of this race. As we got a quick look at when the lead changed hands right before that caution flag. Furness, fresher tires here. It's kind of his patented move. He's the only one doing it. Goes high in 3 and 4, gets to run into turn 1, and then just takes it.
And made it look easy.
And this time, there's like no strategy. I think pretty much everyone came down besides a handful. Nico Garcia, Richard Thomas, Bronson Stafford, Lakatos. That's 4. We got 4 cars staying out.
2 tires for the 33 and 4 tires for basically everyone else. A little bit of a logjam coming off pit lane there, Hunter.
A little spicy. Thank goodness they can go in between each other and not collide with each other. That would be dangerous. But are past the halfway point and got some guys staying out. This should make for a very interesting restart.
I thought some of these might peel off and hit pit lane 4. Garcia. Oh, I see. So, all right. So they got 19, 19, 27, and 25 laps on their tires. I realize I actually have a graphic for that. There you go. So this, I thought that maybe Lakatos and Stafford would peel off, but they have not. So perhaps they see some track position advantage here, but this is like what I said earlier. I'm okay with trying this, but maybe like lap 140 rather than lap 80, because at 140 to 150, I think you could survive that stint with crashes behind you. I don't know that you're going to do that right now.
The only difference in these guys staying out compared to how many stayed out last time is obviously there's a lot less drivers. The yellow flag's out. It looked white on my screen for a second. You got less drivers staying out, and these drivers were not close to the front that stayed out. Nico Garcia is going to take over the race lead. He came, the yellow came out. He was in 24th position. He was actually right in front of Richard Thomas and Steve Durham. So 24th, 27th stay out. And then Bronson Stafford, Case Lakatos even further behind them. Stafford was 29th, Lakatos was 31st. So I see the positives. You gain 20 to 30 plus positions with this, so you think it's got to work out. But you're going to be you're going to be getting blown by in a few laps. So you kind of need a quick yellow to make this even remotely work. And if you do get a quick yellow, you get fresher tires, but also you don't keep track position. So it's definitely a very risky strategy for these 4 to do.
See Weishart making it 3 wide going into turn 1. I don't know why, you could just see it.
Probably see a lot. At least Cameron Hearn's not 5th.
A 20 lap difference on tires, I don't even think it would be far out to say that he'd be 3 wide. I think he could be there and maybe be leading by the end of that first lap after the restart. We've seen the tire wear be significant enough that it's worth doing Monday night. I don't know that there was an enormous advantage to tires. Track position really was the key. But tonight, I don't think we're going to see it to that extreme. 80 laps down, 70 to go. And like I said, laps will turn by quick, but the aggression level is going to keep ramping up here from Richmond. Field side by side, Nico Garcia in the red car is the control vehicle, and he launches. We're back underway at Richmond.
Good restart for the drivers on old tires. Weishart won't even have a chance. He's actually sleeping a little bit on that restart. But out of 2, probably in the 3, we'll see a move on Bronson Stafford. Ooh, make some contact. He's going to lose his run. So not going to happen. Furness is once again going to get the advantage. Lakatos and Furness might have had contact there. Garcia gets away from all this, and the entire field is stacked up behind.
Oh, yeah, they are. Jake Nichols, there you see the 33 of Weishart going down low, making it 3 wide into 1. Oh, gosh, this is all chaotic, and meanwhile,
man,
Garcia's pulling away.
not for long.
Yeah, just the logjam here. I thought that the 33 would kind of, put the hole in the iceberg there for a second, but out of turn 4, a little bit of scrambling. The 37 tries to defend from JT Poole. Poole has none of that. He drops to the bottom.
Yeah, defending on old tires is a big no-no because that's either going to get you, sent maybe, so can't be doing that. We're looking 4 wide into turn number 3. Lakatos just backs out of it. He doesn't want anything to do with that, so they'll get by the 50. Meanwhile, James Scioli is looking to be the big loser. He's lost a ton of positions.
Oh, up front.
Oh, behind Bronson Stafford, got stuck behind him. Furness gets the lead, and Alan Elwood got through as well, and he's on the bumper of John Furness.
They were 3 wide of their off into turn 100. That was crazy.
Trying to look for that lead. He's on the same strategy as the 28. Going to make good use of those tires while he can pass the 41 of Garcia.
We got a crash. A little bit of a crash. Bronson Stafford, Bryce Senesac.
Wow.
Kind of in the middle of all that. They somehow all kept it straight, but they're not done sorting back out.
Credit for that one. Here's a look at what happened. 61 sideways. Senesac did an excellent job keeping that thing bottled up without looping it around.
He got a lot of damage out of that hit.
Richard Thomas is just in the center of a tornado right now.
Lakatos as well. He got put 3 wide again. Beckner and Danny Ware get by him. Travis Beckner's back into the top 20 with his damage, or at least about to be, as those old tires not hanging on. Garcia's still in the 5th position. Just got passed by Connor Yeroshak, who's making his way up to the front ever so slightly.
Trying to do so as Tyrion underneath the 37 of Richard Thomas, and right behind him the 6 of Munsell, just trying to work his way back inside the top 10.
Been physical out here. We basically turned the what do they call it? An hourglass. We turn the hourglass upside down, and everyone's resorting. It's just taking a little while to do it, and they're reshuffling the deck. Just a touch here on the halfway point of this race, but I think the tires are going to finally settle out as Garcia drops down the field out at 8th. Alan Elwood is all over the back of John Furness here, and Hunter, your pick's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I said he was more determined than ever, especially after the heartbreak last week. You're starting to have doubts if you could do it again, and then you're having such a good run and you get caught up in a wreck. And I mean, it wasn't just him; there were tons of others, but means different for Alan Elwood. Like I said, hasn't won since season 3, over a full calendar year back in December of 2022, and he's got 2 of his 8 career Pro Series wins on these short tracks, less than a mile in length. Has yet to win here at Richmond, though. Has won at IRP in Bristol. So looking to change that today as Yeroshak up to 3rd, Poole in 4th, and Hearn looking for 4th in the 5th spot going into turn 3.
Yeah, Yeroshak still looking for a win here this season. Cameron Hearn has won here a couple of times, and he's muscling his way back into the top 5 here, Connor. He's also one to keep our eyes on.
Yeah, I'll say he muscled his way. Look how much he wants that top line. He basically took it from JT into turn 1. JT crossed him over, and they're going to make contact and pulls into a wall all of a sudden. Big hit for the 26. Once again, they keep it straight, but that was kind of a confusing one as JT Poole now has to try to deal with that damage.
Yeah, he's trying to manage all he can.
Slider behind.
He's going to hit the inside wall. Ooh. Oh, and now Poole's spinning in turn 2. And he's in a wall again. That was not a good lap for a low dollar.
That was gets clobbered.
Goodness.
Who was that?
That was
Miami Dolphins car.
Spencer Brown.
Spencer Brown again.
It's the 2nd time tonight.
What was it with the double brake issues? So on Tuesday. We had a lot happen there.
Yeah, this is JT. Remember, he was already upset and hot tires.
He was calling wheel damage as well. Also took a big hit of that. That's big damage. Yellow's out.
He went from bottom to top on the track.
Yeah.
Not sure why.
Gave him the benefit of the doubt on the first one there, but let's ride on board with him first and just see. He might have been distracted by the fact that he had passed Beckner. I mean,
Probably.
The reaction wasn't all that bad, assuming that he didn't know that the 26 was the one that was spinning. But yeah, either way, see, 26 wasn't stoked about that. And then let's go back a little further and catch the 27's issue. Travis Beckner got tagged off the inside of somebody there, and
Brandon Bowie. And he takes a big hit. That was probably the worst lap for Low Dollar all season. The Bowie, yeah, kind of in the wall, kind of comes down a little bit. And Beckner just corrects down the track at the bad time. And that's probably one of the worst angles you can hit at this track, and the engine went as well. So rough day for him. The night's going to be done. Meanwhile, had some strategy, but not much. Not many hit this time around. So the order will be relatively the same.
Rough sequence there for Calusa Pines. I mean, you got Connor Urashak working his way up, and then right behind him, Poole goes in the wall, spins out a couple of turns later. Then Beckner has a moment. Quite a roller coaster there for Calusa Pines.
Busy sequence there for sure, not in the way that they would have liked. Race fans, no need to fear. Winter is here. Bundle up this season with shop.areairacing.com and shop from our new selections of champion hoodies, jackets, and sweatshirts. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. That's shop.areairacing.com. Let me tell you, it is cold outside here in Chicago. I'm sure it's not necessarily toasty where you guys are either, but you could use some shop.areairacing hoodies at the moment.
Yeah, I got some hoodies. You also get a Southern 500 Race to Win hoodie if you want. I think that's still on the shop from my Race to Win. I actually got the shirt because I have enough hoodies, but our hoodie's still there. If you want our merch, 609 Motorsports. So I'll just plug it right now because I never get the opportunity to.
There you go. Hunter, you got a favorite piece of merch?
Good. Oh, I've spent over $200 in merch on the area iRacing. Quite a bunch of new stuff, and it's really good material. Good, not just in the product itself, but also the design as well. Got some new, like you mentioned, Connor, Area Southern 500 shirt. You got Brad Slaughter gear, Senesat gear, Bowie Sports. You got 609 gear as well. Area iRacing got some pretty freaking cool new merch out. And like you mentioned, the jackets and the hoodies. Very comfortable at this time of year, and it's only yours, Connor, only $35. So
yeah,
nice and
very cheap. Very cheap. I got it in red. I just think it fit the car better. Personal preference.
Look at that hoodie there, the Area iRacing hoodie and the sleeve patch for $35. That's a pretty good deal for a hoodie. I sold hoodies on Sim TV store when we had it for a very short time, and hoodies are not easy to get inexpensive, especially when you do printed material on the sleeve as well. Beanie too. Oh man, I have to go shopping later.
you probably get a 609 Motorsports tumbler. I think that's on there. There's a few different things on there, I'm sure. I have to look.
Stanley Cups.
Stanley Cup. No, those are like $200. We ain't charging that much for any tumblers.
Oh yeah.
That's a trend that I don't understand.
I've never seen a league have such a thorough store.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Here we go. Restarting lap 99, just over 50 laps to go, and John Furness is the control car back underway. Laps are counting down.
Look at Cameron Hearn. He timed that to perfection. He might get second from Alan Elwood because of it, because now he's got that top side dominance on him. He got wide out of two. It's going to hurt his run.
Oh, almost a spin in the back.
Shane Abbey sideways.
Jeremy Miller in the middle of all that after Abbey slid.
Side by side here, Urashak and Weishart. But keeping my eye on Cameron Hearn. He's threatening up here inside the top five, especially if you get another caution and he restarts on the inside with a chance to make a lunge. I would be very nervous if I'm a front runner right now. Look at this mess back here. Holy cow. Nico Garcia on fresh tires trying to go somewhere that he could not fit his car.
If this somehow goes green, Nico Garcia is in a great spot, but that's a challenge so far as Richard Thomas, Garrett Grant trade paint. Garcia's up to about the 19th position now by Brody Falker, who we haven't talked about tonight, but Brandon Bowie's actually even further up on new tires, so plenty of work yet to be done for this 41.
Busy place.
I'm going to say a little further up here, though, still good battles brewing. The 49 Danny Ware. Then up here, the 3 of Ryan Hart's trying to make his way back inside the top 5. Currently doing battle with the 7 of Sky Ollie for 6th on the track. He's looking to the inside, not to mention Jake Nichols on his bumper as well. And then Chris Vrabel over in ninth, just a little bit of ways back. He's got Matthew Bell who's inside, and Shane Carrion as well.
29 laps led for Ryan Hartz. It would be disappointing if he couldn't get a top 5 out of it, but he's...
Oh, we got a crash. Ben Pierce and Jeremy Miller and Justin Munsell in the wall hard.
That was a big crash. Body panels skittering all over the racetrack back here.
Jeremy's luck does not get better. He ran well at times tonight, but number of crashes, this one will definitely take him out. And Ben Pierce, who was running solidly as well. What happens here?
Oh, the 78.
78.
Get him, and oh, the 30 is just a victim. So is the 6.
Tricks of Munsell's got no luck at all.
No, he doesn't. Jeremy and Munsell was running top 5 tonight. It's just horrible for him after the incident with JT Poole, but 78 just way too deep into a corner, and Ben Pierce just can't hold on to it.
Oh, that
Jeremy Miller, Justin Munsell.
That's the...
Look out! Did you see the left rear lift off the ground?
Yeah, this thing was
destroyed.
Yeah, the way it gets hit here, it kind of gets T-boned. Bam! That thing is absolutely destroyed. That is a right off the chassis. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Sorry, 609.
Yeah. It's a lot of money. A lot of e-money.
E-money.
It's the money I could have used on area.shop, but now I can't.
There you go. Can you
yeah, look at that suspension. That is broken. When it shifts around like that with the rear tires. I remember a crash at New Hampshire. Casey Kane had a crash like that where the right rear was not on the ground. And this is like, it might not even be on the ground right there in his pit box, but he's definitely done for the night, I would think.
And Justin Munsell, his luck, he didn't have bad luck. He would have no luck at all. About says it all. Sitting back in the chair, and I imagine there's a rant that goes with that as well.
I'm not good at reading lips, but you can tell something's happening. But yeah, just it's worse for him than it is Miller, because he ran top 5 and was probably still a threat to win this race. But then JT Poole spins in front of him. He pits for that damage, and it puts him back in the pack to where that can happen. You know, Tuesday night as well, the incident there, just not been a good week.
Was that a dog?
I think so. Looked like it.
Dog?
Looks like it.
Looks
in the
vibey
chair
back there, though,
behind him.
for sure. Got a nice candle burning in the background.
Well, you see he's got the beanie and the long sleeve on. It's definitely cold over there. Might be a fireplace back there, so definitely keep it warm, but yeah, unfortunately, not the night that he wanted.
I don't know how that 30's still rolling, but he is.
No way.
He's gonna run laps.
Gosh.
I don't.
Yeah, some skilled crew members down there on the pit lane.
Thank you. Yes, we overpay probably, but it's worth it. He's had a rough season. He's ran every race and he's 39th in points. Ryan Hartz has had the same type of luck. Hartz has missed one race, but he's still down 40th in points. It's been rough for him. This is actually a great run as far as Ryan Hartz standards.
So I just had a commenter ask what candle I'm burning tonight, and it was funny he should ask because I have not yet lit up my candle, which we've gone over this before, but this is an opportunity to show you my really cool candle lighters that my mom got me.
Here we go.
I'm not sure if you've ever seen one of these things before, but it's like a little.
No,
it's like
I have not.
It's like a little plasma candle starter. Whoop.
Oh.
So it
starts a house fire.
Hold on. There we go. So you see,
that's cool.
like, it's like a little plasma, like a little electronic thing.
Yeah.
You stick this guy in here, and boom. Can't tell, but it is lit.
I can see it. Yeah. All right.
Pretty cool little gadget, if I had to say so myself.
That's pretty. That's solid.
I think it is barrel vanilla bourbon or vanilla bourbon barrel or something like that.
You had
Vanilla
bourbon?
anything is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially candle flowers. Those are the best smelling.
Good stuff. But yeah, a little like electric fire starter thing, and you don't have to worry about fuel. And it makes a nice, it doesn't make a flame so it doesn't like, you can do it at any angle. Anyway, green flag, lap 109 of 150. We're back underway.
Here we go, 3 wide. Euroshack got the jump on Elwood, but Elwood fired it into turn 1. Bowie's trying to fire it into turn. Remember, he's on fresher tires. He's trying to make ground up now, but goes wide out of the corner. I thought we were talking about fuel to lead for a second when you said that, but no, we're still racing here in the area. It looks like Euroshak couldn't get that spot. Now David Weishart might get through. Cameron Hearn is slow on the top in turn 4. Not sure why.
Might have scraped the wall, but that 23 of Bowie, 17 lap difference on the tires. Trying to make the most out of them now, especially as Elwood's closing in on Furness for the lead.
Oh, straight.
Wow, that was Garrett Grant.
Everybody scatters, and we stay straight and green. 40 laps to go, and again, we're getting very down to crunch time here. Some of these drivers might have made their last stop, if not everybody, unless we get another late race caution.
Tell you what, we didn't really note the pit stops enough there. Scioli and Hearn pit, which is honestly surprising, and Jake Nichols. I didn't even notice until now how many people pit there, and that's kind of surprising because they're pretty far back, barely inside the top 20s. They're 3 wide where that 73 is.
And in the midst of this, you see on the left-hand side of the screen, when everyone pit, the 50 is sideways into turn 1.
Yeah, you can see all the pit stops. No more cars in the wall. I think that's Garrett Grant again. Look at this mess. You don't think it can work, but it's going to have to if these drivers, 73, the 7, 4, and others want to get back to the front. It's incredibly tight back there as John Furness continues to lead.
Goodness, they're still not done yet.
Yeah, this is wild.
There's one way this ends. Oh, they're mixing it up for 11th, too. Greg Mitch with Nico Garcia, Richard Thomas.
Holy cow.
And Alex Weaver all over each other.
This is a great
This
fight.
is Richmond. Oh, there's a crash. Little Cottis. They once we took our camera off Cottis into the wall.
That's
could
how
not
it
tell
happens.
who was with him.
That's always how it happens. Yeah. So let's have another look at it here. Ooh, this is just like an accordion contact here, yeah. Fell up to the 38. Up to Lakatos.
That was a chain reaction. I'm sure neither driver is happy about, but Jordan Martin, not really. He got the bump from the 43, like you said. There's nothing he could do there, and 50 gets the worst of it.
Don't push the pusher.
No, as Matthew Best going through the grass. Had more pit stops. Garrett Grant pit. He had some bounce with the wall, but that is about it this time.
So now what? If you didn't pit,
not have been open.
If you didn't pit last time, would you do it now?
Not really. I don't think it was a long enough run. Never mind.
Okay.
Elwood and Weishart pit. Hartz, Danny Ware, and here comes Nico Garcia. That one's surprising because he had fresher tires and everyone left in front, but for the most part, this is all front runners.
So now we're going to have 3 different strategies, Hunter, and as many ways to try to keep up with it.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with this call because I'm getting the sense that it's going to be like a caution fest to the end where we might get 5, maybe 6 laps of green flag racing and then a spin that brings out a caution and then just slows these guys down. I would have stayed out, but we'll see. This does work out for Brandon Bowie. He moves a little closer up to 3rd now and works out for Euroshak up to 2nd.
Pass car is Julio Villalobos Jr.
That puts 32 on the lead lap. Lante Ballard, no front end still. He's the next driver a lap down. Joey Chapman's still running 9 down after his incident. The retirees, I won't say only because there's a decent bit. Munsell, Poole, Beckner, Spencer Brown's still running. So 37 laps down for him. Then Steve Durham, Justin Sogak, the other driver's out.
I wonder what Eric Wineland was, not me, hello, Eric Wineland was drinking. What do you got, Eric? What do you got drinking?
You'll never know.
He's watching.
Better be water.
Oh, yeah, it better be water, or else we're sending you to the admin's booth.
I always love sticking cameras on people and waiting to see if they notice. I wonder if Travis will.
He's got to look up.
Travis gone?
He's not running anymore.
Not in the Zoom anymore.
Yeah, he's out of this race. I don't think they're gonna. I don't know if he's gonna notice.
He always notices.
He seems confused.
Travis just writes in the chat, dead.
I mean, yeah, that wall's not forgiving. That's not surprising. I don't think anyone's ever hit that wall like that in real life either.
Not lately.
That's why it's still concrete.
Not lately. Is it still concrete in the real world?
I don't think so. I feel like that's got to be a safer barrier. This is not a new scan, really.
No, this scan is 2009 09 vintage, probably. It's got,
actually,
gotten updated.
besides unlike New Hampshire, it still works.
Yeah.
This scan still works. I don't think Richmond's changed that much. It might be less grippy on the top now.
I feel like the track is, the pavement's darkened up a bunch, hasn't it? They sealed it a couple of times since.
I don't think they've sealed it in a long time. I think it's much lighter now.
It's been at least 15 years since they sealed it.
They sealed it in 08?
No, I don't think so.
I didn't think
Don't
so.
remind me of 08. That's a bad year for junior fans.
Bad year for Kyle Busch fans, too, because that's what junior fans use to justify their hatred for the next 3 decades.
He was going to get hated anyways, though.
I know, but
all right, for me, it was only 9 years, okay?
Like,
only
Junior
9.
settled that in the fall of the same year, and everyone forgot about that. Everyone forgot that it was over.
That's for the longest time. I think for the longest time they actually believed it was unintentional.
Well, he took Kyle Busch driving a Chevy to win the
Yeah, exactly.
Jimmy drives a Toyota, now everyone hates him.
Yep. It's funny how the world works.
Fan base for you.
Green flag, lap 120. John Furness fires up and away, and we're back underway at Richmond. Jake Therian taking him 3 wide. No, Weaver, rather.
Weaver puts Therian in the middle. Bell's on the apron in the background. Furness keeps the lead. Euroshak's going to get second away. Bowie with fresher tires on these two. Up the third.
Gosh, who is that?
That's Villalobos.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Look at this mess out of turn 4.
That was Licata sideways, actually.
Crash. Bronson Stafford's in the fence. On the nose of David Weishart, cautions out.
David Weishart. That's another contender with big damage, and I don't think he's happy.
And Richard Thomas stops for this one.
So did Spencer Brown.
Yes.
It's kind of what we saw last night. Tuesday night, we saw 2 ARCA brakes and then on the brakes early.
Yes.
Here's where it happens. Bronson Stafford, Jeremy Miller, and there's Elwood getting through. There's Licata slide in the background.
So Stafford is on the outside of the 30. It's 4 wide here. That's why
I put it 4. Yeah, I can't really blame Bronson Stafford much for that. But I also can't blame Weishart because you need to make time up on new tires. So he got the lane. Look how much room he has. You figure you got to use it. I think they figure Danny Ware's going to clear, which he does, but then Nico Garcia gets back bottom, keeps it forward.
Nobody really did anything wrong. You just can't do 4 wide around a short track.
You can't do 4 wide at Richmond.
No one changed lanes or did anything silly. It was just
ran out of lanes. Oh, yeah, that was Spencer Brown. That must be a good onboard. Spencer Brown kind of just followed that crash as it was happening. The highest up driver who pit was Bryce Senesac from 14th. So look at this. I think he wants to show everyone, hey, I'm on the brakes.
And he did get an EOL for the previous incident for ARCA brakes. Which, by the way, I just really enjoy that ARCA brakes is like a thing that is recognized as a term, and that's what everyone calls it.
Oh yeah.
There's if there was like a NASCAR Wikipedia or NASCAR wiki, it would be on there. It's scary
when you go and you actually look at examples of what people are calling ARCA braking, like in the real world. It's scary to watch. Like
I don't know who. Yeah.
It's like it hurts. Like when they're at Daytona and Talladega and they fly into a wreck at 150 and slam into each other.
Yeah.
It's just painful.
Or Atlanta.
Anyway. Or anywhere really.
I mean anywhere, but the big tracks, the fast tracks especially. It's funny. I don't know who runs Central United Motorsports YouTube channel. It could be. I don't know if it's Kyle Tupper or their other owner, who I can't remember right now. But they've been drinking beers forever yellow. If we could bring up that graphic, I've lost count. What is that? 9 cautions for 40
yellows,
laps.
Yeah.
It is. He's running out of beers.
I would be face down by this point. So.
I don't think I could drink 9 beers that fast.
I couldn't either. I'm usually like
that's chugging territory.
By the time I'm like 2.5 in, I can feel it, and then 3 in, I am liquid. Like there's no in between. So we're gonna restart with about 24 laps to go. Down to the final 10 minutes or so of racing. And look who has filtered to the front. Connor Euroshak, remember he started 30th. And my pick to win this race, like Tuesday, is crashed. Dang it, dude.
How's your pick, Connor?
Jake Nichols. He got fresher tires. He got up to 8th, but has not led as much as I thought he would. He's gotten up to the front. He led on different strategies, but he's still, obviously it's Jake Nichols. He could strike at any moment, but it's not really been him the dominant force. It's really been John Furness all night long. We saw Reinhardt's for a while. That 28 and that 3 have been the guys to watch, but now you got Euroshek at the front. He's aggressive, but we can't stop looking at Chris Rabel and Brandon Bowie, or at least Brandon Bowie and Alex Weaver. They still have fresher tires than these guys up front.
Yeah, so laps instant shows you how many laps ago the car was on pit lane for Furness, Euroshek, and Rabel. It was almost 50 laps ago. Bowie's got about 15 lap fresher tires than that. And Alex Weaver and Richard Thomas also in that boat. John Furness is the control car. He chooses the inside lane for this restart. 24 laps to go here from Richmond. Let's see how things pan out in Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. Green flag back in the air.
Furness clear. Euroshek will battle Bowie into 1. Bowie gets a good drive in the middle of the corner, but loses some on exit. Oh, they bang doors. Bowie has to save it. That's how Euroshek will get the spot.
Closing in on that lead is the 12 of Euroshek's been so close to winning a race this season. Less than 30 laps away from possibly doing so as Falker getting some of the wall off of 4.
Look at Jake Nichols in the middle of a hornet's nest here at the exit of turn 2. Nowhere to go, nowhere to steer. They're just packed in here like sardines. Couple cars hip checking each other in the background.
Oh, 64 Ed Robertson got spun, but he saved it.
Saved by Robertson.
Yeah. It was off the bumper of Nico Garcia, but he kept it straight. I wonder if we're going to get another classic Ed Robertson rant. We've got a few in the past 2 weeks, but either way, they keep it straight.
What a great job.
You're in the wall from second.
Cars scattering.
Oh my God,
Garcia.
This is ridiculous.
There's too much going on.
Rob Furness is okay with it. Not happening near him.
Yeah, 3/10 out front of Hunter Euroshek. Hunter.
He's trying to boot scoot and boogie away from that and increase the gap between himself and Euroshek. Meanwhile, gosh, it is indeed the hornet's nest behind Bowie. And here comes Wineland looking really low with Montgomery, and that's not going to work out in the favor of the 66 as Bell's looking to pass him.
Here goes Weaver, 3 wide.
Hoping to not see smoke off the nose of the 66. Scioli has to lift. This is going to get tight.
That worked well for Nichols, though. He's going to get by a lot of that traffic. Now it's Scioli's the one. He's pinned into the middle, but Jake Nichols up to about 7th now. There we go. Oh, there it is. How in the world?
Was unbelievable.
Not done yet. 4 wide. Greg Mitchell.
Still 4.
In Ireland. Oh my gosh. They can't do this. Now Bell's sideways. Jesus. My gosh. I don't even know if I can say that on stream, but I don't know what else to say about that.
I mean, that's a certified moment right there if there ever was one. Look at Wineland still middle.
Can't get out of this either. And this is still for about a...
Oh, Shane Abbey! Shane! Hold on to it. Hold on to it, Shane.
This is all for 12th place, and they're 3 wide for about 16th in the background. Here comes Weishart, who's still got fresh tires.
He threw it down into 3.
He's got to hurry. We're only down to 18 to go. You got no time to get to the front. Meanwhile, Furness and Euroshek are gone. Connor Euroshek's keeping tabs on it, but has not made an attempt to make that pass yet. We're now watching Jake Nichols, who has pretty fresh tires. He's going for 5th on Richard Thomas, but I don't know if he has the time to get up there.
I don't know if Elwood has time to get up there, too. Elwood was back there in the 20s or so, but he was close to being involved in some of that carnage. Just used the 3rd lane and rallied inside the top 10 as Thomas is eager to get around the 73 and Nichols for 5th on the track. And there you see Bell in the back lurking, and the 10 of Elwood's lurking, too.
Yeah. Elwood's tires are much fresher, too.
Running out of laps, though, guys.
Oh, man.
15 to go. You got to be up in the front now, or be prepared to make this this next caution the next blot on your list, because you're just running out of opportunities, whether it's track position or strategy calls. You're going to have to get your chips in all the places you need them for this last run of the finish here.
Tell you what, here's a heartbreaking development. Ryan Hart's just dropped out.
Oh.
He ran so well tonight, he's not going to get a finish that fits that.
levels of the internet.
Durham back on track.
They always ask, why not implement tire failures and things? Well, because that is what the internet does for you. That random, seemingly unavoidable mistake. You know your internet's bad. Just like the tires might not last, however long. But you can get a random puncture at any moment, and down you go.
How it works sometimes as we get close to the end of this. Still battling, but maybe a tiny bit less hectic, but still hectic. Coming to 12 laps to go. Yurashek's kind of losing pace with John Furness. Brandon Bowie can't stay with him. And Jake Nichols still faster, but I don't think he's fast enough to get there in time. Even Alan Elwood's pace is starting to fall off. It might be a battle between them for who gets to talk to Kyle.
It's the best battle on the racetrack. It's not for first, not for second. It's for third because they get to come up in the booth after the race is over, and that battle is up for grabs now. Nichols inside of Bowie. Elwood's starting to lurk in the background. The laps are dwindling down, only 11 to go. And Nichols into the podium spot. Here comes Elwood looking to take fourth from Bowie, and Bowie might just give it to him, and he will.
And he's got it. And John Furness ahead of Yurashek. How frustrating would it be for Yurashek to get, what was it, Connor, a fourth, second place finish if he finishes here tonight? That's so frustrating.
Yeah, it will definitely be frustrating, and I'm not even sure he's led a lap. He got so close to getting up here to kind of come out of nowhere to get this win from a poor starting position, but it just doesn't seem like he has the pace. He's going to need a caution, I think. He was faster last time by. It just seems like they keep trading times, though. We'll see if Nichols and Elwood can get there, but their times are just not fast enough to bring down a 2-second gap.
If they do get a caution, this will absolutely work out. Unless it's a green-white checker, then it's not so much. But we'll have to see. As the racing in the back, we might have another yellow.
Yeah, you guys say if, like it's an option. We avoided probably 6 yellows in the span of about 2 laps. The racing gods owe us one. 8 laps to go.
Oh.
And Yurashek is trying to eat into that advantage.
Joey Chapman spun, but it did not bring out a yellow.
Ooh, another car back there on the apron.
Casey Lacatus was also slow. 7 laps to go, and Yurashek just nibbling into the lead the slightest bit.
7 1/1000ths of a second slower last time by. Jake Nichols and Elwood were a 10th faster, but they just lost so much time in that gaggle of cars. If it wasn't as big as a time loss, it'd be a bigger threat. Cameron Hearn would be as well, but just not the case. Elwood actually just gave a slight tap to the 73, so that battle will be on. They're almost 3 wide for about 7th position. They are 3 wide. Chris Rabel's going to go around on the front straightaway. He's going to hit that same wall.
Oh.
Does he stop? He will not. Will stay green again, but that's a shame for Rabel.
It ruins the top 10 run for the 29 as Elwood's going to take third with ease. Nichols going to run the third lane, trying to get all he can. Laps are dwindling here. Richmond and Cameron Hearn running in 5th, trying to clear up the ground between himself and the 73, making a 3-horse race for third.
Yurashek ain't done.
No, he's not. See, Elwood getting into the fence, pushing the issue, but that 12. He's so close, Connor. He's got 4 laps. He's finished second 3 times. Is he going to do it again, or is he going to lunge and take a spot for the lead here?
I think there's no question you give him the bumper. I don't think you even have the time to go under him to make this pass. If you have a shot at his bumper, I think you take it. But then you got to wonder what Furness would do in response. He's going to try to get the right rear in 3, though, but just losing it too much in the middle of the corner to keep him. Now he's got to run with 3 to go, and now he's going to go to the bottom.
Side by side for the lead heading into turn 1. Yurashek looking for his first win of the season. Going to try and clear the 28, going to park it. Here comes Furness with a crossover and a move to the inside. Side by side into 3. Who's going to come out on top?
Richmond up for grabs here, both for their first win of the season. Yurashek on the top side, Furness on the bottom. Yurashek throttles up, 2 laps to go and clears the 28.
I'm shocked Furness didn't give it back to him. That was a slide job from Connor Yurashek, but now Furness is fighting back bottom. This could be a losing battle. Yurashek saved the tires a little, but Yurashek's tight at it too, and they both slide off the corner.
Oh, we're going to be trading paint all the way up to the finish.
Oh, yeah,
I can
they
feel
did.
it. They're doing it now in 3 and 4, side by side for the lead. Guys fighting for their first win of the season. White flag in the air. One final time from Richmond.
3/4 of a mile. Euroshak on the outside. Furnace on the inside. Will it get physical between these front two? Euroshak throttles up mid-corner. Furnace gives it all he's got on the rear tires out of turn 2. Side by side down the backstretch. Banging fenders, banging doors into turn 3. Round 9 at a trip to the playoffs in the balance. Banging doors out of turn 4 to the checkers. Furnace, Euroshak, who wins it? Who wins it?
They tied, and it gave it to Euroshak. They virtually tied at the line, and Connor Euroshak took it from him.
God,
The first ever.
I cannot believe that.
Gosh.
The first ever .000 on SimTV.
That was incredible. That's the finish of the season. That's as respectfully as you can race at a track like this. That was awesome from both those drivers.
Oh my gosh, it had to go down to the 10,000th of a second, just like Daytona in 2018.
I mean, you
I
can't.
thought Furnace had him at the line.
Yeah, that's close. Oh man, that is a finish.
Are you kidding me?
That does look like Furnace has him, but iRacing gets the final say regardless.
I mean, that is unbelievable.
Unbelievable. That's
Without
the
a doubt,
race
closest
of
finish in the area history.
That's the closest finish in SimTV history in 6 years of operation.
and it didn't take any. I mean, we had some contact, but that was incredibly respectful and clean, and you have to give it to those two because it could have gotten much more ugly. That was the best finish I have ever seen, and that's heartbreaking for Furnace, but Euroshak needed that.
Blew it up too. He
Yeah.
blew it up down there on the pit lane, or on the apron down there. Let's go have a look at this though. This whole last sequence between these two, they leaned on each other. They bumped, they rubbed. But rubbing's racing. There's the white flag.
Only Alan Elwood got close enough to have a say in this.
Look at that slide by the 12 out of 2. And by the way, for 5th, 15 thousandths between Nichols and Scioli as well. 8 thousandths between Weishart and Roderick for 15th. Look at that, though, to the finish. That's awesome.
That is incredible. Furnace drove him up best he could. Even he did give him a little bit of a door, but side by side to the line.
Yeah,
It does not get closer.
Had I just eyeballed that, I would have given that to Furnace, but that's why you got to wait for the timing.
I did eyeball, and I did give it to Furnace.
Yeah. I've zoomed in, and I also see Furnace ahead, but it's iRacing timing and scoring, 0-0-0 at the line. There's no rule going against iRacing live timing and scoring. So regardless of what we think of the finish, Connor Euroshak is our winner by just that little amount.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
And generally, by the way, in motorsports, across road racing, I've seen this at Grid Life and SRO, it is convention that when it comes down to a photo finish, it usually goes to an actual high-speed camera, but obviously in iRacing, they do the finish a different way. So this might just be based on the virtual transponder location, which would be in the rear of the car, and that might be why it gave it to the 12. Either way, the timing and scoring will stand. Euroshak wins. Furnace second. Elwood steals a third. Then Cameron Hearn, Jake Nichols, James Scioli, Matthew Bell, Richard Thomas, Brandon Bowie, and Danny Ware, your top 10, Connor.
Yeah, a lot of drivers fell off. Jake Nichols surprisingly kind of fell back at the end of that race to the clutches of Scioli, but here's some drivers outside the top 10 who still had good runs. Nico Garcia, David Weishart, good recovery to 16th. Same thing for Garrett Grant and Senesac to 19th. Therian kind of struggled at the end, went back to 20th. Brody Falker, didn't talk about him all night, 14th for him. Same for AJ Roderick behind him, Wineland 13th. That's just inside the top half of the field. As we go further back, 21st on back with some more drivers who probably weren't as lucky, starting with Greg Mitchell. Ed Robertson got tapped late, and Jeremy Miller had a number of issues tonight as well.
All finished inside the lead lap, though, which that's interesting. Didn't expect that many drivers to finish on the lead lap with the carnage that we have, but Delonte, the first one to finish the lap down, and then Ryan Art's had such a good run going. JT Poole as well. Munsell, Beckner was up there. Man, a lot of, not as much as Darlington, but some guys who needed some really good runs, unfortunately, not coming home with the finish.
40 drivers even, the first of which we're going to talk to is Alan Elwood, who brought his number 10 car home in third tonight. And Alan, a really strong result for you and your team tonight, bringing it home in third. But Hunter had you picked to win, and I thought for a while maybe you had the car to beat at a certain section, but just needed the track position, especially as those front two were battling. You weren't quite close enough to take advantage. Take us through your race and that race to the checkers.
Well, I'm disappointed in my first interview of the season, and there's no cat.
He's sleeping right here.
Oh, come on.
But well, now he's awake, but he's not grabbable just yet.
Fair enough. No, it's been a long season, long calendar year. This is the worst luck and results I've had in the area in any season I've raced. So just to even get a top 3 is awesome. I did everything I could to try to win. I thought, getting 2 tires, I saw how Weishart was able to work it, and I was like, that's the key. Just, you got to go in and get some right sides at the end and hope that you can get through the field, and somehow did it. I don't know how. And I was pushing so hard those last couple laps, hoping those guys would fence each other or something, and it didn't quite work out that way. But all in all, I'm so happy to finally get one of these results. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, certainly a good step in the right direction at the right point in the season. Tonight with the yellows, we had a handful of them, I think 9 or 10 cautions, but they were spaced out few and far between. We had some longer runs, we had some shorter runs. How do you plan your tire strategy around cautions that aren't really guessable, and when the tire strategy seems to be so important?
Oh, it's so much of luck almost. I mean, you can be the smartest guy in the world, but you know how these league races go, especially here. We can go 9-10 cautions in a row. Like, you just don't ever feel like you have a flow, but then you could have a 50-lap run. Like, you just have no idea. And we felt like there at the end, when I think it was like 35 to go, I pitted for tires or something like that, was like, if we don't pit now, you're not going to want to pit with 20 to go because there's not going to be enough time. So it was like, we just have to do it now. And again, hope that it worked out. And sure enough, it did. There were some holes that opened up, and we had to fill them.
Third place for the number 10 Chevy tonight, Alan. Congratulations, and a good way to get the momentum rolling. Thanks for talking. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Kyle.
All right, let's talk now. I want to bring both the drivers in here, both John Furness and Connor Urashak, because, guys, this was, I believe, the closest finish I've ever seen on SimTV since I've been doing this for 6 years. 0.000. John, let's start with you. Leading that restart, coming back around on lap 150. You had some side-by-side racing there. You did some overs and unders, and when you came across the stripe, I think everybody was crossing all their appendages. Take us through that epic battle there with Connor to the end.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun, man. I've never seen a 0-0-0 finish before, so proud of that. Wish we could have got the iRacing win. I don't know how that works, but and it was a good battle. It was interesting there with the tires and the pit stops and the way that was all shaken out. I just decided I was going to go like hell towards the end there, and I guess I should have saved a little because Connor came back around and caught back up, and we were both struggling a little bit, and I just wanted to make sure it was somewhat fair coming to the line there, and it was fun. It was fun for sure, though. So that was a cool deal. So congrats to Connor on the iRacing tie, we'll call it, and yeah, glad to be a part of it.
Connor, take us through your perspective. You were on the approach there. You finished second 3 times this season, led 175 laps. You've led in all but 2 races this season. You were so close so many times, and finally, in the narrowest of margins, you steal one. What are you feeling?
Man, I don't even know what to say about all that. I got to thank my sponsors, Calusa Pines, this low dollar racing group. It's been a bit of a rough year for me, but to finally get one. I mean, I came from 30th. I passed more cars than anybody all day and was finally up there battling for the lead at the end, and it's nice to finally get one.
Yeah, I mean, all night long, chasing strategy, carving through the field there, Connor. You did a little bit of everything. You had some tire advantage at some points. You had a disadvantage at other points, but you only pit twice, which is the least of anybody in the top. Actually, that's the least of anybody in the field that didn't crash. So what was going through the strategy there? Because you clearly took a different approach than everyone else, and it worked.
Well, yeah, I saved that set early, which wasn't going to end up mattering, but I gained some track position from that. And then we just kept getting yellows, and our tires kept cooling down. And the B car is so much to do with tire temp. So like with the yellows and getting the cooler tires off, we actually fired off pretty decent, and it's pretty hard to pass around here. So I just kept staying out, and laps ran out at the end for the people on fresh tires.
Connor and John, guys, that was fantastic stuff. Great racing there at the end. Great fair racing, even though you leaned on each other. That was awesome to watch. So good on both of you, and hope you guys watch that one back because it was thrilling.
I'm sure I will. You guys have a good night.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Connor.
that was pretty cool, man. A lot of good hard racing there. So I just want to thank my sponsors real quick: Physicus Motorsports, NAI, DeLeo Bram & Co., and Fame Construction and Flash Picks. Really appreciate the help they give us.
Thanks, guys. Congratulations on a job well done, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, that was awesome. We saw that, this track never really disappoints. We had a handful of yellows tonight, but Connor, we just had an awesome, awesome finish that I don't think any of us were really expecting.
No, I definitely wasn't expecting because 10 to go. I thought John Furness was pulling away, but Connor Yurashek had enough in the tank, also enough tire to get back to him and take the lead away and ultimately win. I mean, that was incredible. If there's ever a compilation when it comes down to downtime for SimTV's off season sometime, if there's a compilation of best finishes, that's number one, and it'll probably be number one for forever. I mean, it's hard to top that. There have not been many finishes that I've seen that have gotten that close, and is definitely the best finish in area history. There's no doubt about that. That was incredible between those two drivers.
And Hunter, tonight, that photo finish, that's going to go down in area history and SimTV history. Your final thoughts here on Richmond?
Well, getting down to the closing laps, I thought we were going to shape up for a Louisiana dive bomb because JT Poole finished second, was close enough to do so, and then looked back at it and was like, oh man, I could have made a move. I was getting ready to talk about that, but the slip up from Furness and the beating and banging with Euroshack, I mean, that's better than a Louisiana dive bomb. That is a virtual tie, but in the end, goes to Euroshack, finally getting that win on the season. And mentioned before the broadcast, 175 laps led heading into tonight for Euroshack, the most out of any Pro Series driver without a win. All he needed tonight was 3 laps, and the checker flag was his. He did it for Dale, Kyle. He did it for Dale.
He sure did, and he came home with a win. .000, the margin of victory. That was close. Next week, we've got a Homestead Miami Speedway up on the calendar. That's always a good one as well. Top lane, bottom lane, doesn't seem to matter. We'll see you there next Thursday night for the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series, and, of course, Monday and Tuesday with the Area Cup and Area Truck Series. Kyle Heyer, Connor Horn, and Hunter Slumpy with you. We'll see you next time.